I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Fairness Wins. And that is because today we are having a very powerful new moon at 27 degrees of Libra. And Libra does rule fairness, among other things. And it is a very powerful new moon in a gentle and fair way. And the reason why is because there are 7 planets that are all surrounding and supporting this new moon in Libra. It is amazing. And so the Sun, the new moon, and Venus, the ruler of Libra, are all in that sign. And they are being backed up a lot by other planets, because Mars is in Virgo right behind them, and it is sextiling the planets in Libra, while at the same time Saturn is in Sagittarius ahead of those planets, and it too is sextiling these planets. And so even though Mars and Saturn are almost exactly square each other right now, and they're malefic planets and not getting along at all, so there can be jealousy and deceit and old grudges that can be lingering among former enemies. And so that can be going on, or some idea of evil right now. But by themselves, these two planets are being softened in their approach, or softened in their attitudes a little bit, because they are both sextiling Venus, the Sun, and the new moon in Libra. In addition, the power is compounded right now because the Sun and new moon are at 27 degrees of Libra. That's close to the end of the sign. And so they are actually conjuncting 2 other planets that are very early in the sign of Scorpio. Jupiter is at 2 degrees of Scorpio, so it is within 5 degrees of the Sun and new moon, and Mercury is at 4 degrees of Scorpio, so it is within 7 degrees of the Sun and new moon. These 4 planets are all conjuncting each other, 2 in each sign. And the reason they're conjuncting each other is because in their alignment, they are either 7 degrees or closer together. And that's what we call a conjunction. And that is making this new moon very powerful, in addition to the support of the other planets which are sextiling it. And so Libra rules balance and harmony and beauty and art and decoration. And it also rules love and marriage and peace and partnership, and it rules the law and all legal contracts. It also rules diplomacy and negotiation and compromise, and it rules reconciliation. And so this is a time when all of those things are very well favored, and that's why the title of the show is Fairness Wins, because even enemies can agree right now that being in partnership, or maybe coming up with the idea for some sort of truce right now or compromise, can be much more beneficial, not only because it can bring a compromise and peace and negotiation, but it also could bring more money in. It could be financially viable right now, and that is so much better than war. And that is because Jupiter and Mercury are conjuncting the new moon, but they're in Scorpio, which is a financial sign, which also does rule war and survival and justice. So I think that we are all in a unique position to be able to be willing to compromise and to get beyond our hate and our greed and our anger and start to negotiate and get some things done. Because remember, in a compromise, you don't get everything you want and the other person doesn't get everything they want, but you both win because you both do get something, and something's better than nothing. And despite the fact that there are 5 planets in a harsh T-cross in cardinal signs because the 3 planets in Libra, the Sun, New Moon, and Venus, are being opposed by Uranus in Aries, and Saturn is, not Saturn, but Pluto in Capricorn is squaring the Libra planets, and Pluto is also squaring Uranus in Aries. Still, the overwhelming support and the close proximity of these 7 planets are lending a lot of strength to the new moon in Libra today. And that can be a favorable indication for a legal matter that can have some fair judgment about it, or there could be a contract or some sort of deal upcoming that could be finalized in a fair way, or there is the possibility that there can be some balance. Remember, Libra rules balance, that some balance can be restored to correct some sort of unjust situation. All of those things are possible. All it takes is just everyone getting together a little bit. And remember, when you negotiate, you may not get everything, but you do get something. That's why it's worth it. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that this is definitely a time when you are going to have to think a little bit more in terms of partnership, Aries. And that is because the Sun, New Moon, and Venus, the planet of love and partnership, which rules Libra, are all opposing your sun sign today, where you have Uranus. And Pluto in Capricorn is squaring your sun sign. And so there's a lot of pressure on you now, Aries, not to do everything your own way, but to go along with some of the wishes of other people. So there is the possibility that you could be involved in a reconciliation, or some sort of peacemaking, or compromise, or helping to get together some sort of fair treatment now that is justified and can be coming up. Or you may even be involved in finalizing some sort of legal matter that can be beneficial to both parties. It might be yourself and someone else. So as long as you're thinking in terms of compromise, you're going to do fine. But if you want to keep going and have everything your own way, what you will be doing instead, Aries, right now, remember there's 7 planets supporting this new moon, which is opposing your sun. What you will be doing instead, if you want to have everything your own way, is that you will be isolating yourself. You will be cutting yourself off from a whole lot of people that do want to get along. They do want to move forward. And so, you know, can you afford that, Aries? You need to think twice before you say no to some sort of partnership effort, because that's pretty much the way the world's thinking right now, and I hope you go along for the ride. I think that that would be the best thing. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, Venus is the ruler of 2 signs, yours and Libra, where the new moon is today. And whenever it's in a sign that it rules, it is very, very strong. So that can help you, even though it's placed in Libra today. And so this new moon can be very powerful, but in a gentle and fair way. And that means that if you wanted to be involved in some sort of negotiation, or you wanted to help solve some sort of a problem, and maybe not have it all your own way, but at least help with that, that would be a good idea. The problem might involve your health, or some banking matter, or investment matter, and that's because Mars in Virgo is trining your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is also trining your sun. They are the rulers of Scorpio, which rules money coming in from any other source. So it looks like this could be a favorable time for you to negotiate a little bit more money coming your way, Taurus. And that would be good. Maybe it would be in the form of insurance or inheritance or better credit or some sort of loan, but still it would be helpful to you as long as you're real cooperative with people right now and not stubborn about anything, because both Jupiter and Mercury in Scorpio are opposing your sun sign, and the next new moon, which is even more powerful than this new moon, is in Scorpio, so there will be a lot of planets opposing your sun sign. That's why I'm urging you to sort of try to back down a little bit in your demands, Taurus, and just be helpful to people right now if you can, because it could end up rewarding you financially. Okay, what does it mean to Gemini? Well, Gemini, lucky you, the sun, new moon, and Venus, the planet of love, peace, partnership, and the law, are all trining your sun. That's wonderful for you, Gemini, because it certainly does mean that you have the law on your side, but you have an awful lot of very nice people in a gentle and with fair attitudes and in a gentle way that want to help you or be supportive of you in one way or another. And so, since your sign does rule deal making and marketing and promoting and advertising, this is a wonderful time for you to be buying and selling or communicating in some way that can bring about some sort of change, generally a transitional change or an easy change. That's what you really excel at. And so this is your time to shine, Gemini. Even though Mars in Virgo is squaring your sun, so is Neptune in Pisces, and Saturn in Sagittarius is still opposing your sun. So there are still challenges in your life, but oh boy, you've got a lot of backup right now, and you have a wonderful opportunity to be able to compromise and negotiate and make sure that things are done in a very lawful way. And I think that you are even more popular than you've been in the past, Gemini, so this is the time to get out and talk to people. You're going to be well received. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, a Cancer, yes, Jupiter and Mercury in Scorpio are trining your sun, and so is Neptune in Pisces. However, and so that means there can be a lot of healing and forgiveness and understanding going on and compassion going on in your heart or in your family, which is great. But at the same time, today's new moon and Venus and the sun in Libra are squaring your sun, and Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your sun sign. So you really probably are going to have to compromise in some way. And that is because there could be changes in management or in budgets or in policies in large corporations or government agencies. And these changes would not necessarily make you happy right now, particularly since Pluto is opposing your sun sign. But if it is for the common good, or if it makes peace, or if it involves some sort of merger, and that is because Libra does rule mergers, it rules legal contracts. If that occurs, you may be sort of on the outside looking in right now, Cancer. You may not be included in negotiations, and you might get your feelings hurt from that, but behind the scenes, I think you're pretty happy with your family and your home life, and you can be anticipating a happy holiday season as well. But as far as legal matters go, you're going to have to be pretty careful, and that is because you may not be included in important negotiations. You may just have to sort of suffer the consequences of them. And so this is a very good time for you to consider preparing in a way to move on. It doesn't mean you have to do it now, but this would be a good time for you to consider the possibility of moving on. It might not be until the end of the year, but you'll be able to afford it, and this is a time when I think you should think about that. The grass may be greener somewhere else, Cancer, in a way that could make you happier as well. So think about it. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when I think that, once again, you need to be a little bit careful with the money, because you could be wanting to spend a little too much of it, and that would not be a good idea. And that's because Mercury and Jupiter in Scorpio are squaring your sun. But they're the only planets in a fixed sign. There aren't any other planets squaring or opposing your sun sign. So if you can keep your hands on the purse strings and keep from spending too much money, then you should be pretty happy right now, because that new moon, Venus and the sun are all in Libra sextiling your sun. And that means you may have the opportunity for a wonderful partnership, or to conclude some sort of legal matter in a favorable way, or to help bring balance and correct an unjust situation. Maybe you could be instrumental in that. So there can be opportunities for compromise and reconciliation, and even for being attracted to a very nice partner right now. Maybe you're feeling like falling in love, or just being popular and getting along better with people. And all of that is possible, Leo. So the title of the show is Fairness Wins. As long as you are fair about things and accepting fair terms on something, you will be doing just fine right now, particularly if you don't overspend. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, Mars is in your sign right now. Venus has moved on, and in fact, the Sun, New Moon, and Venus are right ahead of your Sun sign. And yet with Mars in your Sun sign, you could be a little bit stirred up about something, or feeling pretty passionate about something, or worried about something. And that is because Mars is almost exactly being squared by Saturn in Sagittarius. So there can be some problem that has been around for a while, Virgo, that is perhaps coming to a head. Maybe you have to decide something. Maybe somebody else has to make a harsh decision right now. And yet these two planets are being softened because both of them, their attitudes are being softened because they are both sextiling this fortunate new moon, which is right ahead of your Sun sign. So I think that if you could back away from contentious people or contentious situations and not worry so much about them right now, Virgo, instead, if you just went ahead and looked for a peaceful way to negotiate or to communicate with people, you would be much happier. It doesn't mean you'd get everything your own way, but you may be able to reconcile people to some sort of situation or living condition or work atmosphere policy that is a little bit more agreeable to a lot of people right now. Maybe it isn't everything you desire, maybe it's going to make more work for you, but still, if it makes other people happy, then that is the way to go right now, Virgo. So I hope you're not insisting on things too much, or you're not worried too much right now. There's no point in that. Mars is going to leave your sign pretty quick. And so instead, I think you should just try to seek a peaceful solution to something, or make sure that something is done in a lawful and legal way. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a wonderful new moon for you because it's so powerful in a gentle and fair way, which is exactly the way you like to operate, Libra. And so with the Sun, New Moon, and Venus, your own ruler, in your sign today, and being sextiled by a lot of other good planets, and being conjuncted by two wonderful planets, Jupiter and Mercury in Scorpio, I think you can do no wrong, Libra. And in fact, if you're wanting to negotiate, or you're wanting to conclude or bring some sort of good deal or contract to a final stage right now, it probably is possible, and whatever would be concluded would be rather favorable to you, Libra. This is just an excellent time for you to sort of get what you want, not in a selfish way, but in a gentle and fair way. That is why the title is called Fairness Wins, because many people, even former enemies, can see the advantage to compromise and peaceful negotiation. It beats quarreling and anger and hate and jealousy and war. And it's a way where everybody can win a little bit. And so you can too, Libra. So this is the culmination of something that you might have been working on all year, and I think it's going to turn out really well for you, maybe even a little better than you'd hoped. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when you can be very, very lucky behind the scenes, and you could also be very attractive to other people behind the scenes, and you may also feel like sort of falling in love behind the scenes. Maybe you have a new love interest right now, or else just a happier life behind the scenes, and that's because the Sun, New Moon, and Venus, the planet of love and peace and harmony and beauty, are all in Libra, and they are right behind your Sun sign, Scorpio. And the New Moon is actually conjuncting Jupiter and Mercury in your sign, which means that I think that there is soon to be good news coming your way. Mercury rules news. And that good news could be about a financial matter. There could be more money coming from nice people behind the scenes. There could be money coming from some legal settlement. There could be money coming even from an inheritance or insurance proceeds or a grant or better credit or even the possibility of a future income tax refund. So I do think that things are looking up for you, Scorpio. And all along, you may have been a little bit shy in the money department. You may not have been able to make a dream come true because you didn't quite have enough money for it, but soon you may have that. And so you do have that to look forward to, some sort of expansion or increase, particularly in your financial life. And I think that that will make you happy. That could be coming up in another month or so. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, you could certainly be tired of fighting yesterday's battles, and yet they can be right on your doorstep because Mars in Virgo is squaring Saturn in your sign almost exactly, and those are two very malefic planets representing jealousy, deceit, and people with old grudges to settle, okay? But at the same time, you could be softening your attitude about those things because the Sun, New Moon, and Venus in Libra are sextiling your Sun, and so are Jupiter and Mercury in Scorpio. And so there is the possibility that some trouble that has been almost parked on your doorstep, it could be a health problem, it could be a work problem, whatever it is, I think it's going to be mitigated or softened in some way now, Sagittarius, and I think that that is going to take some pressure off you. And so look forward to something, some matter sort of clearing up that has been a thorn in your side. And it's just going to get better now, Sagittarius, particularly because this new moon today means that fairness wins. And that can be the end of acrimony and hate and greed and anger. And I think you've had enough of those kinds of troubles. And so I think that they're going to wane right now, Sagittarius, and I think that'll be a relief to you. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I don't think you're going to be able to get your way in all negotiations. But remember, if you negotiate, if anybody negotiates about anything, they'll get part of what they want, and that's better than nothing. Just remember that, Capricorn, because today the Sun, New Moon, and Venus in Libra are squaring your Sun sign where you have Pluto, and Uranus in Aries is also squaring your Sun sign. So there can be sudden surprises or a sudden upset, or there could simply be that some sort of legal decision or legal matter comes to the fore, or a partnership issue can come to the fore, and it may be something where you have to negotiate or compromise. And if I were you, I would do that, Capricorn, because everything Libra rules is so well aspected right now that people who want to get everything all their own way are only going to isolate themselves. They're not going to get anything that way. And so it's much better for you to negotiate if you can, rather than be in any kind of a quarrel or standoff. That's not going to do anybody any good. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, you can be very popular right now, just like Gemini, because Venus, the planet of love and popularity, along with the Sun and New Moon today in Libra, are trining your Sun, which is wonderful for you. And as long as you can keep your hands in your pocket and not spend too much money, because Mercury and Jupiter and Scorpio are squaring your Sun, you are going to have the time of your life right now, Aquarius. Not only can you be very popular, but your future prospects can be looking much better. They can really be looking up, due to the fact that there are some very nice people around that want to get to know you better and can help you negotiate some sort of deal or contract that could be finalized soon, and it would be somewhat in your favor. So look for that, because this is an optimum time for you to capitalize on something and to work well with others. There may even be some talk of a merger of some sort, and that would be to your benefit as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is an absolutely wonderful time for you to consider partnership, or to consider compromise or negotiation, or the possibility of some sort of reconciliation. That means you don't get everything that you want, but it does mean that terms can be better in some sort of situation. It could involve your feelings, but it also could involve your finances. And that is because Jupiter and Mercury in Scorpio are trining your sun where you have Neptune. And that's good. They're very good planets, and they are actually conjuncting the sun and new moon in Libra today. And so there is the possibility that if you could not argue with anybody right now, if you could decide to improve your health and your job prospects a little bit by being more serious and attentive, and if you could go along with the demands that some other people can be making upon you, since Saturn is squaring your sun, to do things sort of according to the book, according to their way of doing it, or to follow rules and regulations, then I think something could really work out favorably for you, Pisces, particularly financially. I think there is some financial help coming your way, Pisces. But it sort of means that you've got to change your attitude, or compromise, or be willing to reconcile something. And since fairness does win right now, what's wrong with being fair? Nothing. So I hope you consider that a lot more, Pisces, because I know you want to be happier. And I think you're going to get a good opportunity for that coming up. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org.